Mr. Tony Khan is here. No big deal. Hi.
Great to see you again. Great to be
Welcome back.
I'm back.
Oh, my goodness. Before we talk about Aragon and the residency, which is unbelievable, the location, the venue itself, and what you have planned, congratulations.
Thank you.
You just said it right before I hit record. You said it. It was the biggest weekend, the best weekend of AEW's history?
Yes.
Ever?
Yes. It was the best show we've ever done, AEW All In Texas. You can see it still. You could order it on Amazon Prime. It's the biggest pay-per-view we've ever had on Amazon Prime and one of our biggest pay-per-view shows ever.
Yeah.
One of our biggest crowds ever. The biggest crowd AEW's ever had on this continent in North America ever. And it was just a great experience. Fans live were great. The show was great. The wrestlers fought so hard. Our biggest rivalries, the best night. And it sets up tomorrow night. We're here in Chicago, and we're beginning a 3-week stay. 6 shows over the next 3 weeks right here in Chicago. All the AEW TV is going to be here starting tomorrow night, Wednesday Night Dynamite, live on TBS and streaming on HBO Max. Goes live at 7 p.m. on TBS and HBO Max. And if you really want to see it live, you can join us. It's standing room only tomorrow night, but we have great seats also for Thursday. And the show is coming up the next few weeks. All the Wednesday Night Dynamite shows and the collisions, starting with Thursday night, day after tomorrow. Tomorrow night, Wednesday Night Dynamite, is going to be the first time that we've seen the AEW World Championship belt, the symbol of the promotion since day one. The first thing we ever established as a company, the symbol of excellence in professional wrestling, the AEW World Championship. The first time we've seen the belt since
It's been in a briefcase.
October.
Yeah.
It's been in the briefcase, like you said.
Mr. Hangman Adam Page. Wow, what a match. Was that your favorite match of the night?
It was one of my favorite matches of all time.
Wow.
Hangman versus Mox, Texas Death Match.
Texas?
In Texas, yes. What a great observation. And absolutely, you're absolutely right about that.
I've seen Texas death matches not in Texas, and I get a little confused about that sometimes, but this one made sense. Yeah.
Their previous one was in California.
See?
So you're absolutely right about that. They had a classic. One of the great Texas death matches was in California at Revolution 2023.
That's right.
This was the rematch, the sequel even better than the original. What a fantastic, fantastic match, and what a fantastic rivalry. Jon Moxley versus Hangman Page, and such a great culmination of so many attempts of all the great fan favorites that have tried to take the championship from Jon Moxley and get it out of the briefcase. And Hangman Page is the man who stands tall atop AEW, and he's going to be wrestling tomorrow night. It's going to be a huge match.
Wait, hold on. He's defending the belt tomorrow night?
He's going to be wrestling. Sorry, no. I'm just announcing here with you.
Okay,
There's going to be a huge match.
Yeah.
It's going to be Hangman Page, for the first time as the AEW World Champion, teaming with Powerhouse Hobbs, 1/3 of the World Trios Champions.
Yes.
Powerhouse Hobbs, who his partner was attacked by the Death Riders. Samoa Joe attacked and needed medical attention after they retained the World Trios Championships at All In Texas. So Hangman Page is going to team with Powerhouse Hobbs, a pair of great world champions, and they're going to team with a former ROH World Champion and one of the most popular wrestlers in AEW and one of the most popular wrestlers in the world, and a man who had been wronged and attacked by the Death Riders many times, and that's Mark Briscoe.
Wow.
They're going to team up. It's going to be Hangman Page, Powerhouse Hobbs, Mark Briscoe, teaming up against the Death Riders, Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, and Jon Moxley, standing on the opposite side of the ring as Hangman Page, days after the Texas Death Match, right here in Chicago tomorrow night.
All right, listen, if you can get there, you're going to have to stand, like Tony said, but definitely need to watch this, because, not just because of that amazing main event that you just announced, it's the Aragon Ballroom. For those people that have no idea, this is a historical venue in Chicago. I've seen a million concerts there. What made you and AEW pick that venue to come bring wrestling? Has wrestling even ever been done there?
Yeah, ECW was there decades ago,
That's
over
right.
20 years ago, and it's amazing to think back. That's the last time there has been wrestling here, but I don't know if there has been wrestling since then in the Aragon Ballroom. My friend had conceived the idea when I was a kid, the idea of doing shows in the Aragon Ballroom, and back when I was writing Dynamites on paper, because the idea of Wednesday Night Dynamite is something that I conceived as a little kid. Technically, when I was a kid, I called it Saturday Night Dynamite. Now we do Collision on Saturdays, so cool. but Dynamite's an idea I came up with. I grew up in Champaign, Illinois, and when I was 12 years old, I started writing a show in an email thing with my friends, and we would write shows and email them to each other. We drafted all the wrestlers and split all the wrestlers up in the world and wrote our shows, and mine was Wednesday Night Dynamite. And his show was at the Aragon Ballroom. He called it the Aragon Ballroom, and we're bringing it to life, my buddy Todd. So it's very, very cool, and it's going to start tomorrow night. And like I said, it's standing room only, but you can watch the show live on TBS and on HBO Max. AEW's red hot right now. Our numbers are up quarter over quarter. TBS on Wednesdays, just like tomorrow, and TNT, we're having great growth. And HBO Max has been great for us. The quality of the shows, the wrestlers are doing so great. The rivalries are hot, and the fans are supporting AEW better than ever. We have a great staff that's working so hard to put the shows on 52 weeks a year. And we tour all around the country week after week. That's what's really nice. Now we can spend 3 weeks here in Chicago with all of you. Don't be surprised if you see your favorite wrestlers out and about in Chicago. It's going to be good.
Man, I will challenge one of them to a match. Right, lower whacker. Let's go.
What, like a beer pong?
It won't be an actual match. Yeah, it'll be something more my style. Beer pong is great. That's a great idea. We should set that up. Okay, so back to Saturday real quick, because that was a long event. Because I feel like every time you do these all-ins or these bigger pay-per-views, you try to cram everybody in as much as possible. How tricky is it to do that?
Well, we started the show early. We did an afternoon show, so I conceived it more like a festival of wrestling. Our residency here very conveniently is going to end right around Lollapalooza. So at 3 weeks from now, Lollapalooza, it's for 3 weeks of AEW, and then Lolla comes in. So that's a festival. You go all day, and you see the different bands. You see all your favorites, and you're standing, and it's exciting, and you're into it, and it's a great way to spend a day and go into the night. And that's what this was. It was a festival of pro wrestling with all the great rivalries playing out on the biggest stage for AEW that we've ever run here on this continent. So AEW All In Texas was our best show. Like I said, you can watch the replay now on Amazon Prime or anytime, and it'd be a great time to catch up before tomorrow's show live on TBS, and you can stream that show on HBO Max.
So when you were a kid booking these events, Saturday Night Dynamite at the Aragon Ballroom.
Well, that was my friend's show. Was at the Aragon Ballroom.
You can't take credit for that. Yeah.
Dynamite was touring. I got to give my buddy Todd, Todd B.
What's up, Todd?
From Palos Heights, who now lives here in the city.
Yes, I love that. So when you were doing it back then, did you have any idea how difficult it would be as an adult to do it? And is it difficult? Because we're talking about 52 weeks. There's no off season.
It's 100 times harder because I would actually take breaks, and not only that, but it's 100 times harder. You're dealing with real human beings, and it's a completely different thing. You deal with injuries, you deal with personalities, and in this case, the AEW locker room is the best it's ever been. The environment's great. We have the great group of people, and even the biggest villain that we had is the champion. Recently with Jon Moxley was somebody that did what he said he was out to do. There's some villains that have different intentions from others. You have MJF, who's a top villain who people hate, and he's just a completely irredeemable, terrible human being.
Yeah, he's the devil.
And then you have MJF on one hand, who's a top villain. Then you have another top who's been a great world champion. You have a top great world champion like Jon Moxley, who I think had very different intentions. And even though he's done a lot of terrible things, I think Jon Moxley did accomplish what he set out to do, which is bring the AEW fans and the locker room and everybody together to take down, in this case, an unstoppable force that was Jon Moxley. Like you said yourself, the belt was in the briefcase for so long.
It was like addition by subtraction almost, right? Like everybody was loving to hate him, and then that got the whole locker room to bond against him and the fans all against him for what, like 6 months, you said?
For 9 months. He said it was going to take something really special. A hero was going to have to rise up, and nobody could take him down, and for a long time, nobody could do it. It's a very interesting situation now.
Yeah, you said now your fan base is growing even bigger. Do you look at your fan base as a certain type of demographic, or do you think now we're starting to expand in different areas of people that have never seen your product? What makes it seem in your eyes like it's growing?
Well, it's definitely the viewership, first of all. Q1 was up over Q4, and then we just got the Q2 numbers at the end of this past month, and Q2 was up over Q1. So we've grown over the past few quarters from the end of the year to Q1 and into Q2 on TBS and TNT. Both grew in both quarters. So we were up on TBS and we were up on TNT quarter over quarter, and that's when we started streaming on HBO Max. So not only have we grown the cable audience, which is a hard thing to do in 2025, to grow the audience on two different cable channels at the same time for two shows, back-to-back quarters, but also to have HBO Max be a great launch for us, and fans are really enjoying watching AEW there too. So you can watch AEW every Wednesday night live on TBS, 7 p.m., or stream it on HBO Max. And now we're on every Saturday on TNT and streaming on HBO Max. But the show will be shooting this Thursday in Chicago, so that's actually day after tomorrow. Great tickets available still for that, in addition to the standing room only for tomorrow's Wednesday Night Dynamite.
So history has shown that some organizations, they program for kids, right? They want to get the kids to beg their parents to take them and buy the merch and stuff like that. Who does Tony Khan and AEW look to program to? What type of fan?
All ages. AEW, when I was a kid, is the wrestling I would love to watch.
ECW?
I absolutely loved watching that. And that first wrestling show I ever went to outside of Champaign, Illinois, was actually in Philadelphia, was ECW.
Wow, you were there.
My first two shows the first two shows I ever went to outside of Champaign were back-to-back, outside Philadelphia Friday night, and then in Philadelphia Saturday night in the ECW arena. And it was fantastic stuff. The late, great Sabu passed away recently, and I actually saw his stretcher match with RVD.
Wow.
We had a great stretcher match in AEW recently. Mark Briscoe against the notorious Ricochet.
Yes.
Who's somebody also very impressive. They both competed in that great Casino Gauntlet match that was won by MJF, who I mentioned is also a very hated villain who now is guaranteed a world title shot. We've got a great scene in AEW, men and women. We have a great women's world champion, Timeless Toni Storm.
So good. She's
one of the greatest wrestlers on the planet. She defeated another one of the best wrestlers, Mercedes Moné, the TBS champion, in a world title.
She's got a lot of belts, doesn't she?
She's got a lot of belts, Mercedes Moné, but she didn't win the one she was out to win.
The most important one, obviously.
The most important one in the world, Timeless Toni Storm's AEW World Championship. So they're two GOATs, but there could only be one at All In Texas. And on that day, it was Timeless Toni Storm that defeated the TBS champion. They're the top two women in the world of wrestling, in my opinion. They still are, and I would love to see a rematch at some point because that was an absolute, in my opinion, 5-star classic. It's one of my favorite matches ever. Also, the show was incredible, and the standard of AEW wrestling is so high. Everybody really delivered in AEW All In Texas. The wrestlers, the staff, and most importantly, the fans.
I'm going to do a SAT question for you. How were you good at SATs?
Very well.
Okay, here we go. You're going to be good at this. So, Ric Flair.
Yes.
Ric Flair was to NWA as to who is to AEW?
Jon Moxley.
Okay. Quick answer. You didn't even think about it. Jon Moxley is like the Ric Flair because he what?
He's somebody who could be the top hero, the top fan favorite. He's somebody who could be the top villain, as he's proven. He bleeds buckets. They have very different mentalities in terms of they are very different. Jon Moxley's the ultimate blue-collar wrestler. Ric Flair is the ultimate white-collar wrestler. But they have this hard-hitting mentality. Jon Moxley was actually the last 250-day-a-year world champion in wrestling.
Okay.
That's
a long time.
It became much more of a television-focused business in the past decade. But about 9 years ago, Jon Moxley was the last person to do 250 days a year as the world champion.
Fun fact.
And that is very much the Ric Flair mentality. Also, Jon Moxley is also the most decorated world champion. It's a lot like Ric Flair because Jon Moxley is the only person ever to hold the AEW World Championship, the WWE World Championship, and the IWGP World Championship in New Japan. And Jon Moxley is the only 4-time AEW World Champion. Now, there's other aspects of Ric Flair. You say the white-collar
style and
aspect,
profiling.
the mentality you could go another way and say is a pure villain. We've never seen the versatility of Ric Flair to be a hero. we've seen a bit of him as a hero, and he's done very, very well. Another top wrestler in AEW who's got some of that aspects and is just beginning his very young career and is for his age, the most accomplished man in wrestling is MJF.
Yeah.
And MJF brings a lot of those great villainous aspects as well, is a white-collar wrestler, and is somebody who can wrestle the 60-minute matches, as he's proven with Bryan Danielson and Will Ospreay. So if you're, if that white-collar aspect of it, but in terms of being the most decorated champion at this point who's wrestled in all the places, I think Jon Moxley, they're two of the great stars. Hangman Page is a very different wrestler than Ric Flair. So Hangman Page is the world champion now. Hangman Page has been a hero. He's been a villain. He's been on different sides of the ball. I look at him as a different style of champion, though, than Ric Flair. A lot of akin to me, a man who I've considered a friend and one of my all-time favorite wrestlers, like Steve Austin. Hangman Page is a beer-drinking cowboy.
I can see that.
And Hangman Page brings a lot. And Hangman Page will drink a beer. He'll even, if you're a fan in the front row, Hangman Page will drink the beer right out of your hand. Just like a little bit different than Steve Austin, but a lot of similarities. Yeah. He's got a different mindset in many ways, but as far as being that hard-hitting, beer-drinking cowboy, Hangman Page reminds me more of that, and he's the world champion now. But he's somebody that's of that standard, I think, as well.
I love MJF because, to me, like me and my friends who are lifelong wrestling fans, he reminds me of Stone Cold in the sense that Stone Cold was like this bad guy, and you're just supposed to hate him, but he became like a cool bad guy. And MJF says things that you're just like, oh damn, he just said that, he went there, and that's something that like me and like my guys like really appreciate in wrestling.
I love that.
I think that's missing.
I absolutely love that, and I think that's a great point. And like we were talking about before, but now twisting it around again, what a juxtaposition though between how Steve Austin did it as a blue collar star and MJF as a white collar star. Very different approaches. They dress very differently, but you're right. Two guys that can bring totally different mindsets, and they could be a popular star or they could be a villain, but they don't have to change who they are or what they do.
A lot of money with MJF, I feel like, in the future.
Absolutely.
I feel like he's the guy, in my opinion.
He's a huge star for us, and I absolutely agree. MJF,
for years to come.
For many years to come, he's going to have a great career, and he's got a huge month ahead of him. Not only does he have a guaranteed AEW World Championship match in the future at some point, but this month he's got Happy Gilmore 2 coming out.
I forgot about that.
So from winning the Casino Gauntlet match at AEW All In Texas, earning the guaranteed contract at the AEW World Championship, and we'll look forward to that, but also after the huge month he's had winning the Casino Gauntlet match this past weekend at AEW All In, MJF, big Happy Gilmore 2 premiere coming up.
Awesome.
July 25th for him on Netflix.
How long has AEW been running now? 6 years?
6 years.
Okay. What is the biggest thing that you learned from beginning to now about doing this whole entire wrestling, promotion?
In the pandemic, definitely adaptability. We had to adapt to doing shows. And I moved the show to Jacksonville. I put wrestlers that weren't necessarily working.
You never slow down.
Around the ring. We never stopped doing shows, and we had to survive as a company and keep the company going. And then we actually grew and got better and better through that lockdown.
Because that could have been the end. That's only a year into it, right?
Less than a year.
Less than a year. So adaptability, that's a great answer. Is there anybody that you can think of at the top of your head that gave you the best advice on how to do this whole thing? And what was that advice?
That's a great question. I have to think about that for a moment, but I have gotten a lot of good advice on it over the years, and for the very best advice.
Because I know you've worked with a lot of smart wrestling minds,
You're
right?
absolutely right. And to pick out all the thousands and thousands of things you've seen and learned and over the years, to pick out one, it's really, really hard. It's hard to single that out, but I think going back to being adaptable and flexible, that is something we learned firsthand. And, that's some of the best lessons you learn are the ones you learn firsthand.
Are you always learning?
Yes, absolutely. 52 weeks a year, you have to. You learn from the fans and the wrestlers and the reactions of the fans to the wrestlers and talking to the staff. You can constantly be learning. But bet on yourself. I don't, people say that. I'm not sure who coined it and who told me that, but definitely in AEW, we bet on ourselves time after time.
And you've won.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks, man.
Because that's what we were looking for. We were looking for an alternative. And not only did you give us an alternative, you gave us this amazing product that now we can watch. We can schedule our weeks around, your program.
Well, thank you. And I feel like going into Wednesday Night Dynamite this week here in Chicago and this weekend Collision. We're filming Thursday here at the Aragon Ballroom. Great tickets available for that. I feel like going into this week's shows, coming out of AEW All In Texas, the company's in a even stronger, more exciting, healthier, better position than it was the last time I came in and saw you.
Yeah.
So we've grown and gotten better.
Was it last November I went to an AEW show? It was the day before Thanksgiving,
That's
I believe, right?
Look how much we've grown and
short amount of time.
And look at how much we accomplished in that time. It's pretty amazing.
All right, before I let you go, we're a top 40 radio station here, so we're going to fantasy book one match. Okay, you ready? It's Olivia Rodrigo, right up your wheelhouse, I know. You have that on, versus Sabrina Carpenter. Who's the villain? Who's the good guy? Who's going over?
It's a great question. I think Sabrina Carpenter could be a great villain there, and you could build Olivia Rodrigo to be very sympathetic. Sabrina Carpenter dresses like a heel, like a villain, and you could build her up as a very and eventually could become popular, like what you were talking about. But I think Sabrina Carpenter would be like a star power heel, especially with the flashy outfits and things like that.
Sabrina Carpenter wins?
Yeah,
but putting over Olivia?
Cheating. I think Sabrina Carpenter might sneak it out.
Yeah, she borrows like a Taylor Swift, I don't know, nightstick or something like that.
Or
a microphone.
Hit her with a microphone.
There it is. Done. Right. We're fantasy booking with Tony Khan. This is cool. My day has been made. Thank you so much for coming in, man.
It's great to see you again.
You too, brother. And Aragon Ballroom, get your tickets. You're going to be there for like the next 3 weeks.
Absolutely. Starting tomorrow night, Thursday night this week, 2 shows a week for the next 3 weeks, 6 shows. Come to all 6 or come to any of them or watch any of them or all of them. TBS, TNT, and HBO Max starting tomorrow night, Wednesday Night Dynamite.
All right, we're going to leave and go play beer pong on Wacker Drive. So
I'm in.
Awesome.